Welcome to the Musical Moments with Tanya. Today our topic is music and other arts. We invited Misha Lenn to discuss this topic. He is uniquely qualified to talk about it. First of all, he's international acclaimed award-winning artist. In the year 2005, he was the Best Watercolor Artist of the Year award. He's official artist of Kentucky Derby, Westminster Kennel Club Show, and his paintings are in the private collections of many celebrities. Just as well, Misha is a wonderful jazz player, and I really wanted to ask him, what do you think is the relationship with music and other arts?
Good evening, or day, or morning, and thank you very much for having me. It's the most important. And yes, we talk about the three forms of art today. Let's start from that. The highest level of and the highest form of art, I would say, it's music, because from different notes and different melody, it creates the imagination. It creates some kind of images in our mind from no reason, and we don't understand how this little notes and combination of the notes makes us cry, smile, have a sorrow, or have a wonderful feelings about life. And it's absolutely unbelievable because we don't have any connections, no connections between anything. It goes through the ear. And literature and the fine art, I would say, would take a second and third place. And sometimes they change because the literature, through the words and maybe sentences, create the images in our mind. And fine art creates the immediate response. You see the picture and you understand the image. So I would say three forms of art: music, literature, and art, fine art. And between these three, in my opinion, music goes to the first place and takes first place. It's a winner.
Misha, let's look at some facts. You are an official artist of Boston Pops Jazz Festival in Tanglewood. Your works are in private collection of such famous musicians as cellist Mstislav Rostropovich, jazz pianist Dave Brubeck, a singer Diana Krall, a composer and conductor John Williams. There's no doubt that your works appeal to musicians. Is there any specific reason why?
That's probably can speculate and think about that. First of all, I think I'm really lucky that I met these people, and it's really interesting, and really, I would say they're giants, and it's really great to meet them. And I'm happy that my work was good enough that they have it right now. Yeah, let's say. So somehow I would say my art sort of connected to music. And let's talk about, for example, Boston Pops. I have a piece to show to you. This is a piece that I made for Boston Pops. It was a few years ago. And you can see I was trying to create the atmosphere of festive atmosphere, that people liking music, liking each other. I'm an optimist by nature. It's a fact, and I want people to look at my art and hear the music, and vice versa. When they hear the music, I want them to see and imagine the art. So that's sort of, you can see the atmosphere of its end of the composition, and people applauding, people really happy about hearing something. And I think it's really, somehow it works. I don't know how it works, but it works. It applied to and appeal to musicians, and people can hear the music. And if you can, I can show to you another piece that might be interesting. Let's say this I made for many years ago. I made it for one of the law firms in Boston. So, and if you look at the three musicians here, it's a saxophone, and it's a violinist, and people, three of them just playing. It's like a triangle. And I think the combination of music, city, and light, and everything brings us to bright colors, to to really good spirit, and it's the most important. The most important is emotions. Don't you think so? That the most important.
Something else I noticed. You were talking about the triangle: literature, fine arts, and music.
That's right.
But somehow you brought in another kind of art with movement, with the dance. Music unfolds in time. You cannot grasp music in 1 second like a picture. But in your pictures, they do unfold in time because I can track the movement. I can see the figures move. So it just kind of unfolds in time.
The movement, I think it's the most important, and I think the strength of my work is the movement. People move, people make something, and even when I work, I stay and I don't sit, I stay and I move around the table. No, that's kind of interesting.
I can hear the rhythm, the music rhythm behind the picture.
And thank you, I'll take it as a compliment. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I meant it like that.
That's good. So we can talk about any of my pieces connected to movement. And looking at it, it's the same image was translated in the form of a card. So, and the cards that people can get everywhere, that's a little things the same, it's the same piece, by the way. So let's look at another piece, for example, here. When people look at a musician playing tango a little bit different direction. So that's tango, I call the piece multiple personality. So, and you can see that this woman, she's standing in a different position. But I hope when people look on a piece, they can hear the music. They can hear that it works. That goes from one place to another, like a musical piece.
Misha, you mentioned that there's a music inside of you when you paint. How does it exactly help you?
So I would say when I paint, the music is in my head. I don't put it specifically. No, I still would say that sometimes I put specifically the music. If I paint the tango, let's say, I'll show it to the pieces. Let's say this one. When I paint tango, it's much easier. I can put the tango music and it would be helping me to create some kind of movement and create the pieces. So you can see that's different for couples, they dancing tango. So in this particular piece, I remember that when I was painting that, I had a tango, I had a piazzolla playing in the background. It was a little bit helpful for me. As I mentioned before, when I paint, I stay. I can't sit because it's I sort of dancing a little by myself. The combination of me dancing, hearing the music, and this creates I think the better input, and it's better output in my pieces. So it's much more complicated to paint when you hear the music, and the music somehow doesn't correspond with your in your head with the music that you had there. So this is kind of interesting combination. Most of the time I paint without any music because I have my own music in my head. So which is a kind of interesting concept.
Misha, I've noticed lots of your paintings incorporate the music score. I wonder why. And if you can tell me if you have some favorite ones.
Yeah, it's not such a secret, and you'd say a lot, I would say all. So when I was young, by age 7, I was taking piano lessons for 4 years. So, and I was sort of forced by my parents to do so. And you know, when you're forced to do something, you don't like it enough. But over time, it becomes to be part of my life. Music becomes to be part of my life, and when I change the direction of my career or the direction of interest of anything, so just being an artist, I wanted art in the form of music be with me all the time. So, and what I do, I found interesting concept. I'm taking the scores from music and I apply it to the piece of art. So I glue that. And it's become to be, let's see, I'll show it to one of the pieces. So that will be more visible. And again, here you can see the musicians playing, and in this particular piece in London. So, and I can show to you that some of them in the different places have a musical scores. Here, 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 for example, here, here. I think it helps a little bit just music to be part of the paintings. It's a little tricky things, but people don't understand how it works, but I think it definitely works, and definitely music become to be physically the part of the piece. So, and it could be many different music, but somehow particular one that I like a lot, and I like a lot of I like that sort of, I wouldn't say that I play, but I like Bach a lot. So, and this piece is sometimes it's a big so many notes. People even can look what kind of pieces that I can't. But this is scores from Bach, because I love him a lot, and it's really beautiful that my favorite composer is going to be there.
Misha, I knew that you will bring lots of wonderful stories, but your paintings that you're showing us came as a surprise, and I have a surprise for you too.
Wow. Which is?
Angelique Scully is going to play Bach for you. And another piece of surprise that this music incorporates not only the girl who plays wonderful piano, but she's a ballet dancer herself. So your music will definitely come alive through her playing.
Thank you. Thank
Angelique is going to present Prelude in E-flat minor by Johann Sebastian Bach from Well-Tempered Clavier, Volume 1.
It's one of my favorite pieces. Thank you very much. Let's hear it. Thank you very much for this wonderful treat. It was incredible. I really appreciate it. Seriously, that was spectacular. Thank you.
My next question, or maybe something that I'm going to say, maybe will come as a shock. But I was thinking about Bach with his enormous amount of 7th and 9th chords, and then they kind of disappeared from the horizon. Because classical composers, they narrowed down the pool of chords to much less of variety. And then 9th and 7th chords, they started surfacing again. So it feels like Bach was the one that started jazz music, which is full of 9th chords. So I just want to modulate from Bach to jazz, but I wanted to make some kind of a bridge. Maybe I'm all wrong, but that's what I think.
So that's, let's talk about jazz. I love jazz a lot. So jazz, I think, has some kind of connection to music, connection to the art that I do, to the watercolor. So the watercolor has a structure. That's kind of a really interesting concept. The structure that you create by drawing, you put the watercolor on the top of this, and sometimes the watercolor lives its own life. So which means that kind of interesting, you become to be not the creator, you're part of the creation process, and I don't know whom, maybe God, maybe who, maybe some kind of different power creates it with you. So which means the jazz has a structure. For example, let's see the piece that I want to show to you, this particular one. What I was thinking about, this you can see the musician standing. It's a jazz players, and I call it 9 great jazz classics. You can see the vertical composition and horizontal line. So maybe dark, different. It's actually it's a lithograph. It's not the original, because original already somewhere else. Kind of interesting. You know, my pieces become to live its own life. Somebody has it, and I kind of like your children. It's really interesting. But anyway, here you can see the musicians standing. They're playing. At the same time, it's a composition. It's a structure. The vertical, the horizontal line. We have a little bit lighter things on the top and darker in the bottom, and become to be the straight composition, which is like a vertical line and horizontal line. So over that, you can do anything you want. Another piece that I want to show to you, the same principle is here. I'm always trying to keep the structure of the piece. Again, the vertical and horizontal. You can see the vertical, I'm going with the trees. So let's have a comparisons. Like a trees, it has a branch, it has a different things that extend from a branch, and you know the structure of the lines. And after that, you can do anything on the top, anything you want. And it's like a jazz. You have a tone, you have a tune that you play. You know, it's
chord progression that they all know to build.
You know, let me show to you. That's a little bit that it's. I'm not gonna play, but it's gonna be a little illustrative part. So let's say we have a 3 different chords. How we call it?
Chords.
Chords, yeah. Like this 1, 2, 3. It's as simple as that. But we're trying to play around. You know, that's and this 3 chords, right? They giving you really interesting concept. They're giving you structure, and after that, on the top of this, you can play anything you want. Let's say it gives more as a flavors, more as a different direction. Compare myself to anybody who plays anything great, because I'm an artist than musician. So, but basically, it's a little things that I want to show to you to illustrate my point. So you have a structure of music, you have a structure of paint that the painting, And over that, you do anything you want. As I mentioned to you before, as a trees. With the leaves, you can do anything. It's going to be leaves like little things, like lines, but still you have a structure, and the structure gives you the solid things to go in the right direction.
And I love your improvisation. It was up on top and in the bass. And I was thinking of Bach again, because he's a Baroque composer, and he likes those ornaments. And they were jazzy, but they were still ornaments.
Thank you. Thank you.
Seems I cannot get away from Bach. He builds his music around themes.
Yes.
I have a question. Where do you find themes for your paintings?
You know what's interesting enough? I don't have to even look around. It's always around us. It's women whom I love, the cities where I've been, and music that I listened. So it's all the time. You know, and every single theme has a specific direction. Let's talk about, for example, the cities. For example, New York. For example, New Orleans. It's a different cities, definitely, and they have a different moods. New York has a maybe a little bit aggressive, strong personality. New Orleans has a little jazzy, like I've never been there, by the way, so it's my imagination. So let's think, for example, I can show you to the piece where I've been. This is it's in a canvas. So this is an image of Nice. It's in France. And you can see I was trying to create the atmosphere of relaxing, maybe people sitting in a cafe reading the newspapers and one of the musicians standing in front of them with a saxophone. It creates a relaxing atmosphere, and a woman who's looking at him, looking at somebody else. It creates an atmosphere because people remember the feelings. People remember most of the time the emotions that they got. So let's say another image. Let's put it here for now. Another image which I was thinking to talk to you about. This, it's in New York. It's Times Square, and you can see the musicians playing on the top of the taxis. It's exactly the same situation that I've seen in reality. I made a photograph, the taxi was staying next to each other, and it was impossible to walk through. And I was thinking, it would be great if people can stay on the top of the taxis, maybe in the roofs and maybe in the taxis by itself, and play, because I'm always trying to incorporate the music in my art. So, as I told you before, I paint standing, so which means I always a little bit dance. You know, it's dance in a tip top, and it's always there. Music in my head, dancing in my feet. So I'm connected to music all the time. Music and movement. And movement, it's another. That's people dancing. Let's say, do I have? Yeah. Let's say, look at the Boston. This is a Boston scenes. You can see it's a Quincy Market, and this couple dancing in Quincy Market. I am incorporating dancers in the city. So, and it's kind of interesting concept, you know, because people dance, people live, you know, I'm a positive. You can see from me talking even that have a positive energy, I'm optimistic, and I'm trying to make a composition, people dancing at the same time, it's little posters, it's kind of interesting. So, this is a movement, cities, women, dance, everything blended to each other, and I think it's you don't have to look to the theme. It's there. You have to find it and catch it and apply it to yourself.
I can see your inspirations comes from outside and from inside, and successfully meet together at your canvases.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, yes, it is.
On the personal note, what was your path to art?
My path to art. So that's, let's go back many years ago. At the age of 6, I believe, my parents brought me to somebody, probably the musician, or I don't know whom was it, to check if I have a musical hearing, right? Did I say it right? So, anyway, and this woman touched one of the notes, and I touched the same without looking. So, and I said that's the note that she sort of touched before, and they decided I have a good hearing. So, and my parents gave me. I started to study music. So I studied music for 4 years, and it was a little bit, sorry to say, I can say it right now, it was a little torture because my friends were playing football, they were playing outside, and I was supposed to practice. I was a really responsible person, a responsible boy, and I was playing for 1 hour every single day. But interestingly enough, in 4 years, we went to another person, and I had a couple of drawings. And this woman said, Misha has to go to the art school. And my parents asked me, would you like to go to the art school or continue to take piano lessons? And definitely I said art school because I was thinking it's much easier. So, and I sort of switched from one art to another art. But I think I'm really happy that I studied music before, because when I didn't have to practice as a force, I want to do it by myself. So, and music stayed with me all the time, and as I mentioned before, I'm trying to incorporate the music into the art, and I'm trying to put everything together. So, which is I'm really happy that it was this way, and I think it's like a learning at school. It creates a base, the knowledge. When you go to study mathematics, physics, and everything, you don't have to be in this direction necessarily, but it creates the ability to think, to understand, and maybe make parallels, so, and just think about one direction or another. So, and you can see the music stayed with me all the time. For example, let's say here, see that's she's playing flute. Again, it's a music. It's a theme that I don't have to think about. Or another piece. So it's this one. You can see it's a contrabass. Is it? Or
double bass?
Yeah, bass, yeah. So, see, that's music stayed with me all the time, and I really love that it happened in my life. And what else can I show you? I can show you many pieces. I don't know if I did before. This is another jazz. So again, we're talking about everything. The incorporation of the scores, structure, love. You can hear the music, and it's what I'm happy about, that music stayed with me all the time. So maybe it was created and God thought for me, but I have two forms of art, music and fine art with me all the time, and I'm really happy about that.
Misha, we have teased a little bit the audience with little samples of your work, but where people can see more, and what are your current creative plans?
Well, you give me the chance to talk a lot about what I have in mind, which is really great. So number one, let's say people can look at my website. It's www.mishalenn.com. It's the most important. I'm trying to update it because I haven't updated my website for a long time. Now I'm creating the new one. But let's talk about my plans and what I do in life. I think I found a really interesting niche for myself. Besides the fact that I'm doing the pieces as watercolors and that being exhibited in the different places, also I'm trying to find different organizations such as fashion shows, musical festivals, dance festivals, making the image for them, and the images applying to different product. Product, it's not a really great word, but it's a product. Such as posters, maybe cards, let's say the cards of these note cards. So it doesn't make much of it. I'm trying to show different aspects of this. So, and these cards and these posters can be bought in the different places, and it becomes to be really affordable for people who don't have enough money to afford my originals. So, let's say different directions. The directions are, kind of I'm making a statement. What my first experience was, I made silk scarves in Italy with a musical theme, and they being sold in a Boston store in the Symphony, which was a really great and first experience. I wanted to have my images applied to different products, as I mentioned before. So it's number one, silk scarves. After that, I was making tapestry. I'm making the tapestries in Belgium, which are really great, and they are 2 by 3 meters, which is 6 by 9 feet. It's a humongous and really impressive. And also lately I was applying a little bit of the Swarovski crystals to the tapestry. It's become to be like a little spark. So definitely the theme, it's a musical, it's a movement, it's a dance. All the time the theme is one theme: movement and emotions. So what the next? Next, lately I started to do the jewelry. For example, let's say this particular image that I'm holding in my hand, I make from a black line, it's going to be gold, and the color with the enamel. So I'm trying to go like a, let's say, jewelry miniature sculpture. It's not jewelry that people wear, but it's a jewelry miniature sculpture. Just I have to think about the title for this direction. Another thing. What's another thing? So many that I can't keep track on this.
What about illustrating those wine
labels? Absolutely. That's a wine named Avenue that I'm making in Argentina. These little labels with the images of mine applied to a line of wine. It's 8 different wines, and it's really great because I think people who don't know much about the wine, they look on the image first and they're buying the wine. Me personally, I'm buying the wine because I like the illustration on the bottle, and I buy it and I enjoy. And definitely, if the wine is great, that's a combination of the image that you've seen and the wine itself. It gives a great bouquet of the feelings and enjoyment. So
I can see that you're reaching out to people, and not only where we live in States. I think you.
I'm trying to cover the whole world. This kind of sounds really.
How far?
Yeah, that's the continent. It's a global Misha.
Is it as far as our back home? Moscow?
Yeah, I go to Moscow and to St. Petersburg, where I'm from, all the time. So, and I have many clients over there. For example, this particular image that I made it for the ball. Like sounds really interesting, but it's Russian Moscow Venice ball. So you can see people dancing waltz, the same structure that we had before, the conversation that we had. Enjoyment, dancing, movement, bright colors, structure, everything is here. So I'm going to Moscow.
Yeah, I can see your positive energy
My
sprinkled all over.
Absolutely. I'm going in the middle of April over there for the ball. It's going to be exhibition in Moscow, talking about the plants. Exhibition in Moscow in the middle of May, on the 13th of May. So I hope, because you never know what's going to happen. But the plans are. So, and after that, it's going to be definitely musical festivals, which I'm thinking of being part of. All time I'm trying to be part of something that connected to music. I made a little logo that I hope going to be used for St. Petersburg Philharmonia Orchestra. So for Mr. Timirkanov, which is a conductor for St. Petersburg Philharmonia Orchestra. And I hope it's going to be used for his winter performances. So what else? I'm thinking of doing the book. It's another interesting concept, which I'm thinking of the name for this, like 7 senses. Everybody knows 5 senses, but 2 more that I added because I decided it would be a really interesting concept, and I'll keep it as a secret. I won't tell you right now. And it's going to be taking time a little bit, maybe a year or so, because I have to combine all the images, maybe think, and working with a designer, and it's a lot of work. But I'm thinking of going in the different directions, not only making the images that somebody can put on a wall and enjoy it, but I'm trying to reach a lot of people, that everybody can see that and enjoy. And I got a really interesting, I would say, the compliments when I show my work. People saying, I've seen that. They don't know my face, they don't know me personally, but they know the style. Style is really recognizable right now. For example, that's really great things came to my mind. I'm working with a company named Rivgosh in St. Petersburg. They're doing perfume. So I'm creating the images that are going to be applied as posters, as banners, in a different maybe boxes, small or big, for the perfumes. By the way, I forgot to tell you, it's really impressive about this piece that I made for the ball. Can you imagine? It was 50 meters long by 25. So let's say multiply it by 3, it's 150 meter. When I walked into the room, it was shocking for me. Right? It's and when you think about
150 feet.
yeah,
Wow.
you know, that's when you look at it, it's your work become to be really, it's there. You know, that's
From miniatures
from
to
yeah,
work of
absolutely.
such a tremendous caliber.
And you know, that's you're thinking, well, it's me who made it. I still enjoy it all the time, and I proud inside
Unbelievable.
for myself. You know, it's kind of really interesting things. And definitely, I thank my parents who gave me this ability, who sort of like not forced me, but who sort of gave me the freedom of expressing myself. Because I think everybody has to express themselves one way or another. And I'm really happy that I found myself. It's the most important part, to find yourself and to be in peace with yourself. And I thank God for this, and I thank everybody for this.
And we thank you for coming here, being part of our series, and giving such a wonderful insights. And we want to thank just as well Sharon audience that are looking at us through their television sets. Thank you, and see us often.
Thank you very much. God bless you all.